Hey everyone, we're gonna go ahead and get started. Hey everyone, good morning, good morning. I love the excitement here today. For those of you I have not had the pleasure to meet, my name is Kristen Winsler, and I am the Executive Director for True North 400. We have the honor of hosting this event today in partnership with the Georgia Department of Transportation and State Route 400 Peach Partners. So we're excited to get started. Please help me welcome our True North 400 Chairman, Tim Perry.
Summer has arrived. Everyone, welcome. Thank you so much for coming today on behalf of True North 400. This is such an impactful moment in the history of North Atlanta. It is my pleasure as well to have so many of our regional leaders and partners stand up. So I'm going to go through. We have people here today from Georgia State Legislature. Please stand. There are so many names. We're not going to read all of them. Fulton County, City of Alpharetta, and we've got some folks here. City of Roswell, City of Johns Creek, City of Sandy Springs, the State Transportation Board, MARTA, we're here, Jonathan, and then members of the True North 400 Board, and we want to thank right off the bat Kristen Winsler for working with the DOT and putting all this together. We also have numerous folks who have traveled from far away, from the Mr. Bradbury, U.S. Deputy Secretary of Transportation, Sean McMaster from the FHA will both be speaking. We also have members of the consortium on 400 from Meridian, ACS, and Excelio that will be speaking as well. Georgia 400 has long supported the North Atlanta area, and for those who haven't lived here as long as I have, it wasn't that long ago that 400 only started at 285 and went north. And the impact to the entire corridor back in 93-ish, when it opened, it drove a lot of development, but it also created a connectivity to the greater Atlanta area. And what makes this moment especially impactful now is that connectivity that has nurtured all this growth is now set to expand in order to accommodate the growth going forward, and not just connect the communities in North Atlanta, but to connect those communities with the greater Atlanta destination. If you look at developments like Avalon, Halcyon, North Point Mall, and the future North Point Mall, this is incredibly important to all of those initiatives, and we're confident that it's going to support the next generation for both residences and businesses alike. It's ultimately about creating a connected future, and the partnership that has been pulled together from the city, state, DOT, MARTA, it's unprecedented in the number of people that are at the table and that have put something into this to bring true connectivity into our market. We are really proud to support MARTA. Really proud to hope that we get the NHL, and nice catch. As if he needed any more of an introduction, let me welcome to the stage, and all of you welcome to the stage, our Georgia Commissioner of the Department of Transportation, Russell McMurray. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim. Good morning, everyone. Good morning. It's a great day for a groundbreaking. I really do want to thank you, Tim, and True North 400 for hosting this event, and really greatly appreciate the partnership that we have, long-standing partnership with True North 400 for many, many years and decades, in fact. And I think you'll see today a common theme among all the speakers. And that thread or common theme is one of partnership. We stand here today because of many partnerships, in fact. In fact, this is the largest public-private partnership project in the nation, and I think we just determined in the world as well. We're going to claim that. So But I go back to the last word, partnership. So I did what most people do to learn more about partnership. I consulted a reliable source called Wikipedia. And Wikipedia says that a partnership is an agreement where parties agree to cooperate to advance their mutual interest. And also it says organizations may partner to increase the likelihood of each of them achieving the mission and to amplify their reach. And I want to stay with that, amplify their reach for a moment. We had several project goals as CERTA and GDOT worked together to advance this project, and we knew that we had to achieve several of those goals that I'm sure many of those come to mind. But I can proudly say that the partnership that we have with State Route 400 Peach Partners has amplified our reach even beyond what we thought was possible when we started this journey. Things like seeking innovation, that was amplified through design improvements and enhancements that make this a better project than we could have envisioned. Enhanced access was another project goal. In fact, State Route 400 Peach Partners more than doubled the access point, giving all of us more choices to use the express lanes. And of course, improved mobility for 400 that Tim talked about with MARTA and all the users along this corridor, because this project is tackling congestion in a big way. And probably most important, one of our project goals, not one of, but the project goal for every project we do is enhancing safety. Certainly enhancing safety along this 400 corridor. And that is amplified by what you drove by or walked by this morning with incident response patrol units sitting down by the parking deck that have already started patrolling the highway as we get into construction, and will stay there through operations and maintenance for 50 years to provide that help when you need it the most on the roadside, when you're out of gas, got a flat tire, or an incident occurs. State Route 400 Peach Partners Incident Response Patrol is there to help. And staying on the safety theme for a moment, you notice the beautiful orange tie that I don't wear very often. In fact, today's a special day. It is National Work Zone Awareness Week, and that's why we're wearing orange and orange ribbons. If you have an orange ribbon on, thank you for this acknowledgement. Because we want you to be aware of the women and the men who get the job done day in and day out. And I might add nights and weekends to day in, day out, because it's often nights and weekends. Their office is the highway, the roadside. So we want you to pay special attention while this work goes on, not only here on 400, but across the state. Let me just move in again of how the partnership exists. This project could not have been made possible without the support of the GDOT board. We have several GDOT board members with us here today. We have Stacy Key from the 5th Congressional District. We've got Joe Stein from the 7th. This is his home. 400 is his project, and former board member Rudy Bowen as well, who was a champion of this project. But they championed it along with Governor Kemp. And I give Governor Kemp's regrets for not being able to make it today. He's certainly been a true champion. And not only champion of this project, but the governor's commitment to transportation, ensuring that Georgia remains the #1 state to do business, has been profound to DOT. In fact, over the last 3 budget years, the governor's added almost $5 billion additional dollars to DOT's budget to tackle congestion across the state. So certainly hats off to the governor for his commitment. And not only that, but his commitment to public-private partnerships innovation as well. In fact, he attended briefly the P3C conference a few weeks ago in Dallas because he understands P3 and certainly champions in that. I also want to acknowledge the critical federal partners that have made this project happen. You'll hear more from Deputy Secretary Bradbury and Sean McMaster, the Federal Highway Administrator, but I also want to acknowledge Morteza Farajan from USDOT's Build America Bureau for the support that he gave us as DOT from not only his experiences from his previous role at VDOT in P3s, but also his team for helping us through the financing part of this to make it possible for Peach Partners to move forward. So thank you, Morteza, for your work. Also, I want to acknowledge the mayors You recognize, Tim, they recognize all the cities along this corridor, of which there are many. I want to thank them for their patience thus far. It's been a little journey, and we've met countless times. Tim Matthews from GDOT might could run for mayor in your city. He's been before so many city council meetings, so watch out for Tim. Since it's election season, just kidding. Tim needs to keep his job at GDOT. But thank you sincerely to all the cities, the city council members for working closely with us. And again, to Fulton County, where we stand today, and our neighbors to the north in Forsyth County for their sincere partnership and efforts to get here. I just can't say enough while I've got the mic about the GDOT team, as well as all our advisors and support that we have from engineering and advisory services that made the project successful up to today and will ensure the success all the way to the ribbon cutting, which will be the next great day. So I really appreciate the opportunity to stand before you for this groundbreaking. And again, just stand here very honored and proud of the achievement thus far, where we are transforming State Route 400 corridor, not only for today, but for the next 50 plus years. So now we'll turn it over to Kristen to come up and introduce our next round of, or you will announce our next speaker. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. Please welcome State Transportation Board member Joseph Stein, Congressional District 7 representative.
Well, thank you very much, Tim and Kristen, and to True North 400. It's an honor to join you for this wonderful groundbreaking ceremony for Georgia's SR 400 Express Lanes project. This is an amazing day and a fitting place to extend the partnership that has brought so many things to our communities around us here today. Now, Russell had his unimpeachable source, which is Wikipedia. I went to my unimpeachable source, which is my bride. And if you were listening to her, for all the blessings we enjoy in this part of the state, traffic congestion is the thing that frustrates her the very most. I've heard that same comment from many others, and I suspect that's the case for the vast majority of us in this room here. Perhaps more than anything else I've seen, though, this project directly addresses and provides monumental improvements to that vexing problem, one of the most pressing needs for our area. It will help slice through the congestion that has built up throughout the years along the important SR 400 artery through the heart of our 7th Congressional District, which is one of Georgia's busiest commuter corridors. It promises to dramatically improve travel time for those heading to and from work, as well as local traffic, and it increases accessibility for all along the expanse of SR 400. This will undoubtedly markedly enhance quality of life for all of our citizens and contribute to further economic growth for our communities. In addition, this project provides us with resources to fund a host of other projects on key connecting roadways that will improve the flow on and off of SR 400 and extend the benefits of the project to an even wider area. Beyond that, it will make key improvements to bus rapid transit along the corridor. When you really step back and look at this project in its entirety, I believe it far exceeds the incremental improvements that most transportation projects bring, and that it will have a transformational impact on this entire area, perhaps more so than any project that I am aware of. One can only hope that it serves as a catalyst for other similar projects throughout the state. I'd be remiss if I didn't take a moment to thank Commissioner McMurray and his amazing GDOT team for engineering this trend-setting and unique public-private partnership with our unique partners, SR 400 Peach partners, together with the amazing support of our federal partners here to make this all come together. It has turned that initial aspiration for this very important project into the reality that we are all celebrating today. And despite the fact he couldn't make it today, I'd like to close with a very special thank you to Governor Kemp for his extraordinary leadership and tremendous support, along with our state legislators, the support of so many urgently needed transportation improvements, such as those that will be delivered by this wonderful project. Thank you all, and God bless.
Please welcome Executive Director of the State Road and Tollway Authority, the Atlanta Region Transit Link Authority, and the Georgia Regional Transportation Authority, Janine Miller.
Good morning. What an exciting day. Although he's not here today, I want to start with expressing immense gratitude to Governor Kemp, championing this project, supporting this bold new approach, and leading the charge on transportation infrastructure for the state. In fact, during his administration, he has authorized $27 billion in total for more than 300 projects around the state. In Metro Atlanta alone, per person, 143 hours will be saved in travel time by each Metro Atlantan every year. And in case you hadn't heard, traffic's going to get worse. We will have the population of the city of Nashville moving to Metro Atlanta in the next 25 years. 1.8 million more people. So we have to continue to think about ways to keep Georgians moving. Now, one of the most impactful ways that we currently have are 67 miles of express lanes in corridors throughout Metro Atlanta using the Peach Pass. Folks who are able to benefit from that reliable trip in those corridors have made 32 million trips last year, saving 21 miles per hour in speed over those corridors. But Georgia 400 is the last highly congested corridor without this option. And in fact, along this corridor, according to national data, just this last week, over 130,000 hours of delay were experienced on this corridor that we can hear behind us. So we started with a solution that we thought would work at GDOT, and we soon realized that the scale of the congestion, the construction costs, and the delivery timeline for conventional approaches were not going to work with the plan and the design that we had. And the governor did not want to wait another decade plus to install a solution. So he authorized us, and I thank Commissioner McMurray and his whole team. Many of them are here today, and many of them work tirelessly behind the scenes, and the leadership of the State Transportation Board. And Senator Beach, Treasurer Beach, used to be one of those, and he understands well the value and the importance of the State Transportation Board in bringing important and smart, impactful approaches forward. This will be a 50-year contract. So unlike any other corridor in the state, this corridor will be well managed for 50 years with 50% more access points, faster delivery, and better integration of transit than we've seen in other corridors. By 2033, a couple years after the opening, because of this innovative design the Peach Partners have brought forward, we will see an additional 256,000 vehicle miles traveled in this corridor, just because there's more capacity, and we will have a 73% increase in usage of the express lanes versus the design that we had at state government. In fact, even the general purpose lanes, the free lanes, are going to benefit. There'll be 10% lower delay in the general purpose lanes as a result of this capacity. It's truly exciting work. We will see delays reduced by 19,000 hours per day, and crashes will also be reduced by 8%. These are our projections. It is likely to be higher. More exciting than we've seen in other corridors also, as I mentioned, transit. $100 million in state bonds will go to MARTA, as well as $26 million in private capital for transit. That is truly innovative. So thank you to GDOT. The State Road and Tollway Authority staff have done amazing work behind the scenes, as well as running the Peach Pass that has engendered so much good feelings and sentiments and reliability amongst our commuters in other corridors. We will soon have Peach Pass in this corridor. So Governor Kemp's bold vision, US DOT's historic investment, is what makes this possible. This largest transportation infrastructure project in the US, or Commissioner, I'll sort you, you'll be the source as the world. So thank you to the Peach Partners whose commitment and collaboration have brought this to reality.
Please welcome United States Deputy Secretary of Transportation, Stephen Bradbury.
Thank you. Wow, it's great to be here. What a beautiful day. What a big crowd. This is obviously a big deal. In fact, this project is, I think, the definition of a big deal. I want to thank and recognize Janine Miller. We worked together at U.S. Department of Transportation in the first Trump administration. She's a very dear friend and did great work then, but she couldn't stay away from her home state, I guess. And you have a lot of titles down here in Georgia, but I'm sure she's a big asset for the state of Georgia. I also want to congratulate Russell McMurray, your commissioner of GDOT. Really want to thank you, Russell, for your leadership and congratulate you on your election and service as president of the National Association of State DOT Commissioners. That really is a testament to the fact that his peers recognize his experience, his leadership. So you have a national leader when it comes to highway projects like this right here in Georgia. And it's just indicative that Georgia is really leading the way. On Monday of this week, I don't know if it's coincidental, maybe it's coincidental, the Secretary of Transportation, my boss, Sean Duffy, sent a letter to every governor in the U.S. on congestion relief. We call it the Freedom to Drive initiative, and he challenged every governor in America to identify the top congestion choke points in their states, 2 to 5 of the worst choke points in the states, and to outline for us the steps they plan to take to address those choke points and deliver congestion relief to the residents in their state. It's so critical for the economy of our country, for the quality of life, for the happiness of Americans, that we address those congestion issues. And President Trump, Secretary Duffy are committed to getting America building again, and one of the top priorities is congestion relief and addressing that. So we're going to partner with the states on these choke points, address those, and we're encouraging every state to give serious consideration to the most innovative financing structures to address those congestion problems. And that includes public-private partnerships. We're expressly inviting every state to consider that option, because partnering with private developers who make private investments, put their own equity at stake, brings increased financial discipline to the whole process of designing, building, and operating these projects, greater efficiency that focus on return on investment, and also results in faster project delivery. This project, SR 400 in Georgia, is now the premier example, really the perfect example of the solutions that Secretary Duffy has in mind for the governors to pursue all across the United States. This is now the benchmark. It was mentioned Morteza Farajian, who leads our Build America Bureau, is an innovator in terms of putting together these innovative financing solutions and P3 partnerships. He started this in Virginia when he was with the Virginia DOT. That's very successful, the managed lanes, the express lanes around the Beltway in Virginia. Other states have seen that. Well, now Georgia's taking it to a whole new level. This is the biggest and grandest example of that. It is, as Russell said, the biggest public-private partnership project in U.S. history. It is, as I understand it, the biggest infrastructure project ever in Georgia. From the U.S. Department of Transportation's perspective, we are thrilled to be able to finance this project. With Morteza's loan program, the Transportation Infrastructure Financing and Investment Act, TIFIA, this is the largest TIFIA loan the Department of Transportation has ever given for a single project. $3.89 billion going into financing the construction of SR 400 and these express lanes here. And it's going to be a tremendous project in terms of congestion relief. we are expanding capacity of the corridor. That's our emphasis when it comes to congestion relief, is expanding the through lanes, the traffic lanes, expanding capacity. We're maintaining the number of general purpose or free lanes in each direction, but adding 2 dynamically priced express lanes for congestion relief. And there will also be bus rapid transit down the corridor, connecting the MARTA stations along the corridor. So just a perfect example and a great model. And we've also granted for this project what are called private activity bonds, which are tax-advantaged bonds that the Peach partners and the partners in the development can issue these bonds to help finance the project. $3.4 billion, again, the largest PAB or private activity bond granted for any single project. So it's indicative of what we think about projects like this, the investment the U.S. Department of Transportation is making along with the local partners in Georgia. And the return for Georgia and Georgia's taxpayers is phenomenal. A concession fee that Russell gets goes into an escrow account more than $3 billion for the state of Georgia for GDOT, and all of that money will be deployed to focus on highway projects, improvements, congestion relief. And we expect that money will be used to address some of those congestion choke points that Governor Kemp will be identifying in response to Secretary Duffy's letter. So all around, what a win-win-win. Fantastic. It's so exciting for me to be here. Thank you all. You've now set the mark. Everybody in the world really is going to be looking at Georgia for the best example of how a P3 is supposed to run and what it can deliver for the people of Georgia. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Administrator for Federal Highway Administration, Sean McMaster.
All right, well, thank you. I appreciate it. What an awesome opportunity and a great crowd and a great event here today in Georgia. Thrilled to be here with my colleagues from the USDOT, Deputy Secretary Bradbury. Thank you for inviting us here today to celebrate the kickoff for this amazing, impactful project, SR 400 Express Lanes project, groundbreaking. I want to start by recognizing Commissioner McMurray and his innovative leadership. I also want to thank Janine Miller for her friendship and leadership here in the state of Georgia. I also want to recognize the private sector partners that are going to be there every step of the way to deliver this project on time with the results that everyone expects. What an amazing example, as the Deputy Secretary pointed out, of a project that really hits the mark for everything the Federal Highway Administration and the Department of Transportation under Secretary Duffy and Deputy Secretary Bradbury's leadership are trying to accomplish. You know, we are ushering in a new golden age of transportation. In the first year alone at Federal Highways, we cleared the way for more than 72,000 unique projects across the country. Of these, more than 40,000 were construction projects. My goal as administrator is to get our projects moving and to move on schedule or ahead of schedule and under budget. We invested more than $3 billion in nearly 5,000 traffic safety projects to stop crashes before they happen. We have pledged to get 1 million crash responders trained through our traffic incident management training. We are backing the heroes who rush to the scene of accidents first, and we are empowering local communities through our Safe Streets and Roads for All grants on the safety side. You know, today we are here to break ground on the SR 400 Express Lanes project. As others have mentioned, this is the largest infrastructure project in Georgia's history. It also represents the largest P3, not just in Georgia, but throughout the country, and I could not be more excited to participate in this event to highlight the importance of what this will mean for Georgia, but everywhere around the country. The funding for SR 400 Express Lanes project encompasses federal, state, local, bond, and private financing, including, as the Deputy Secretary and others have pointed out, a $3.89 billion TIFIA loan, the largest ever issued by the Department of Transportation. Not only that, but during President Trump's first term, GDOT received an infra grant that accelerated the replacement of bridges along the corridor in advance of this ultimate project. The project is designed to provide connected transportation systems with reliable trip times for motorists and transit passengers. In short, it will improve mobility throughout the Georgia Express Lanes network. It also is a great example of how the state is addressing congestion through P3s, which are a major priority for this administration. As Deputy Secretary Bradbury mentioned, US DOT just launched the Freedom to Drive initiative to address the most congested areas around our country. As part of the Freedom to Drive initiative, Secretary Duffy called on governors across the US to identify the bottlenecks that are choking their states' economies. The Trump administration is ready to leverage every tool in our toolbox, from maximizing roadway capacity to applying American technology to tackle these choke points and return time back to American families. By working hand in hand with our state partners to tackle our toughest infrastructure challenges, we will eliminate the bottlenecks of the past and get America building again. This week is National Work Zone Awareness Week, so I want to thank you all for wearing orange today for the ribbons. While we are talking about safety, I want to take a moment to acknowledge the men and women who are responsible for working on our nation's roads and in work zones. In 2024, 850 people died in a work zone crash. Of those, 673 were drivers and passengers, and 169 were pedestrians, cyclists, and workers. As we get back to the business of getting America building again, the Trump administration remains committed to putting safety first. We have 850 workers killed. That's 850 too many. There's more work to be done. I thank you for raising awareness to this. It is a very, very important issue area. We all rely on these amazing projects all over the country. We need our people who are delivering these projects, who are maintaining these projects, to be safe on the side of the road. For all of us who get behind the wheel, I would like to take a moment just to say, work zones are everyone's responsibility. The theme for this week is safe actions, save lives. Please, when you see an orange cone, that represents a family member, someone in our community, someone at work. Pull over, drive safe, pay attention. We all share a responsibility to keep our workers safe when they're delivering these amazing projects for us. You've heard a lot about what we're doing across the United States, but I'd like to talk a little bit about our investments right here in Georgia and our long-standing partnership with the Georgia DOT. In addition to providing more than $1.8 billion in federal formula funding this year, the department awarded $45 million in bridge formula funding and also executed a $12 million rural surface transportation grant to improve safety and traffic flow for rural residents in Southeast Georgia. I'm also working closely with Georgia DOT on their top transportation projects across the state. I want to thank you for inviting me here to speak to you today. You are tireless transportation advocates and incredibly valued partners in our mission to create big, beautiful, safe roads and bridges as we get America building again. We share a common interest in ensuring that our nation's transportation system is robust and the envy of the world. I look forward to our continued work together. I want to congratulate Georgia, GDOT, and thank the governor for his leadership. This SR 400 project is absolutely tremendous and amazing, and it's going to be the envy of the United States, and I can't wait to see what's next. Thank you again.
Please welcome Treasurer of the United States, Brandon Beach.
Well, thank you. What a great day. It's great to be back in North Fulton and Alpharetta. You know, my wife and I moved here 33 years ago, and to see the growth and what's happened to this area in North Fulton is unbelievable. You know, when we moved here, this was nothing but woods, and then it was a dirt pile for a long time. And I remember when I met with Tim Perry and Mark Toro, I used the word, this is going to be a transformational and an iconic development, and it has been that. But I also think Georgia 400 now is going to be a transformational and iconic development up the Georgia 400 corridor. Tim and Kristen, I want to thank you for your leadership. You know, we started this CID, now called True North Fulton 400, about 21 years ago. Where's Al Nash? Al, we went around and signed everybody up, and we did it for one project called West Side Parkway, from Mansell Road to Top Golf. I tell the story all the time, we got $5 million in an earmark from Congressman Johnny Isaacson. He wasn't even a senator at the time, a congressman. And we were popping champagne. We thought we can build this $16 million road and get it done. Well, come to find out, we had to do a federal NEPA study, and I didn't know anything about that at the time. And Folk Killer Creek's not as wide as this stage, and they found an endangered snail, and they shut the project down for 7 years. And so instead of costing us $16 million, the project ended up costing us $25 million. We'd have been better off not to take the $5 million and have to do the NEPA study. And I know you're streamlining some of that stuff now. But my point is, it took us 11 years to build that project. And if you think about that, 11 years of lost economic development opportunity happened there. And I want to put that in perspective. Eisenhower, between 1956 and 1970, built 46,000 miles of interstate, and it took us 11 years to build 2 miles here on West Side Parkway. But I know it's not going to take us that long to build this, and we're really excited about this. I want to also shout out for Russell McMurray. Russell, I tell you, when I was on the DOT board, none of the agencies talked to each other, and because of your leadership, now everybody's working as a partner and for a partnership. And it makes it easier when she has all the titles. You can just go to one person and deal with all the organizations. So thank you, Janine, for doing that. But you have brought everybody together. And I want to thank one other person. If he's here, I saw him earlier, Rudy Bowen. Rudy Bowen, where are you? Stand up, Rudy, and be recognized. Rudy was the chairman of the board, and he's the one that created the P3 committee, the Public-Private Partnership Committee. I chaired it for you when I was on DOT board. We wouldn't have a P3 without his leadership, so thank you very much, Rudy, for your leadership as chairman. He also is the one that hired Russell McMurray, so that was a great hire. You did a hell of a job on that. I know a lot of y'all in this room have heard me say this, and I'll say it again. There is a direct correlation between infrastructure investment and economic development and jobs. And I think Georgia 400 is a classic example. Mark Burkhalter, the former Speaker of the House, tells a story. He went to Milton High School and graduated back in the 70s. And he said this was built by the Appalachian Development Highway System to produce economic development. And when they built this road, nobody used it. Mark tells the story, they would go out in high school and drink beer on 400 and wouldn't see a car for 3 hours. Now, they must not have had a lot to do in Alpharetta if you're drinking beer on 400, but that's what they did as high school students. And it just shows you what this investment did from an infrastructure standpoint. Let me tell you another story about in the 70s about this Georgia 400. They closed it down for 1 month to film Smokey and the Bandit with Burt Reynolds. You couldn't close Georgia 400 down at all now. We did it one time for Mayor Roswell. He asked us to shut it down so he could do a bicycle ride on a Sunday morning for 30 minutes. And my phone rang off the hook and said, "What are you doing? Why'd you shut 400 down? I was late to the airport." So this has become an unbelievable corridor. But I think this is just going to be great from an economic development standpoint. We're going to have continued growth in this area. And so I really appreciate the investment. I just want to say that I'm enjoying my time in Washington, D.C. I miss you guys. And I would tell you, I do want to tell you a little bit about my experience. I'm honored to serve as the 46th Treasurer of the United States under President Trump. He's a big believer in infrastructure investment. And I will tell you, I can't speak without talking about two things, and it's not transportation related. But, you know, President Trump hit the ground running. He laid the foundation last year with the tariffs and with his executive orders and passing the one big beautiful bill, which was 17 bills in a big omnibus bill. And you're seeing the fruits of that now with no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, and no tax on Social Security. You're going to see money flowing into the economy. But I want to talk about two things that he has us talking about a lot. This is our 250th birthday, folks. This is a great country we live in. And we need to celebrate that. And we're going to have celebrations all over the country. And we're going to be talking about American exceptionalism, American pride, American spirit, and American success stories. And I'm going to give you two success stories. One's from here in Atlanta, a guy named Jeff Sprecher. I don't know if y'all know Jeff. He's married to Kelly Loeffler. He came to Atlanta 35 years ago with $1,000, and he started a company called Intercontinental Exchange, ICE. Now he owns the New York Stock Exchange, the London Stock Exchange. He's like 7 stock exchanges throughout the world. He's a multi-billionaire, started with $1,000. That only happens in America. We are so blessed to live in this country. I'm going to tell you one other story from my home state of Louisiana. A guy named Todd Graves wanted to open a restaurant. He did a paper on it, and it was only one item he was going to serve, and he's got a C- on the paper. Went to the bank, tried to get a $50,000 loan, couldn't get a loan. So he went and worked on the oil rigs for 2 years, saved $50,000. Now he's worth $22 billion. He owns a company called Raising Cane's. Only in America does that happen, folks. So we need to celebrate our country and be proud to be in this country and be Americans and what we can do. And I see that here in this corridor. We're going to continue to have economic growth. And the last thing I want to talk about is something that I think is going to be transformational for our young kids. And I'm very involved in it, and that's why I want to talk about it. Luke Pettit's running it, and I'm helping him with it. It's called Trump Accounts. We're going to invest in kids when they're born. We're going to give them $1,000, and then you can give up to $5,000. We made the announcement about 2.5 months ago. My wife was with me. We had the president, we had Secretary Bessent, we had myself, we had Michael Dell, who gave $6.25 billion to the Trump accounts. We had Mr. Wonderful, Kevin O'Leary, and Nicki Minaj, and we announced it. And it's going to be very big for our kids. We're going to invest in our kids. They're going to be invested in this country. They're going to learn capitalism. Our goal is when a 10-year-old kid, 10 years from now, looks at his cell phone, he can say, Mom, Dad, I got $95,000 in my Trump account. I gained 6%. We're going to teach them financial literacy. And then hopefully these kids will come from Georgia, will come to Georgia 400, invest in businesses, and keep capitalism and keeping this economy going. So in closing, I just want to say this. I want to thank Peach Partners for your investment. And I know anytime you risk capital, you take a risk. But I would tell you, you lessen your risk when you invest in Georgia 400 and you invest in North Fulton and you invest in the state of Georgia. So thank you for your investment. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you for having me. It's great to be back home. It's a great day, and this is a great project. And we started out just with West Side Parkway, Kristen, and now we're involved in a major $3.9 billion project, and we're in a partnership with GDOT and the US DOT and the state of Georgia. So this is a great day for everybody, for the North Fulton, for Metro Georgia, and for the state of Georgia. So thank you, and pray for our country, and God bless Georgia, and God bless America. Thank you.
Please welcome Partner and Chief Executive Officer of Meridian North America, Nicolas Rubio.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for having us here, and it's a pleasure to be here today after so many years working and making this a reality. Together with our partners, Acciona and ACS, we bring local expertise in large transportation projects through the Pre-3 model, with combined track records in transportation development, infrastructure planning, and facility design. I'm not going to get into to repeat the details that have been explained, but let me give you some examples of what we're talking about. Together, the three partners in this consortium have developed or are developing 18 different transportation P3 projects across America in 12 different states. I have the top developers in the room, and I can say that North Atlanta and the SR 400 corridor is the perfect example for us to invest. So thanks for thanking us for investing. It is a pleasure investing here, and we are very proud of doing so. Commissioner, you spoke about partnership, and I cannot agree more. That should be the common theme. And again, let me give some idea of what that partnership means, because it means a strong work together with GDOT and its amazing team with CERTA. We had 18 different rounds of one-on-one meetings. The proponents in this process submitted 1,800 questions to GDOT's team. We came with 141 technical alternatives, technical improvements that were accepted by GDOT between the different proponents. And those 141 ATCs, as we call them, alternative technical concepts, were all about what has been discussed today: improving mobility, enhancing safety, decreasing travel times across the corridor, ensuring travel time reliability, which is what brings that additional capacity and that travel time reliability is what is going to bring that economic development. It has been discussed which is the impact, and everyone knows that investing in infrastructure has a tremendous impact, economic impact on the community. So let me give you some figures on that one. We developed 10 years ago, 15 years ago, 3 projects that are very similar to SR 400 in North Texas. These projects have now been under operation for 10 years. The total economic impact over these 10 years is $24 billion for a project which cost was $5 billion, very similar to this one. If you look at that economic impact, just the impact in the communities along the corridor in these past 10 years has been over $7 billion. So yes, it has a huge impact, and we are proud to be part of that plan. I wanted to add one more thing. We recognize the impact that construction will have on surrounding communities. It's going to bring all those benefits, but the coming years are not going to be easy in terms of construction disruption. I can say that we will do our best to manage that in a way that communities can continue traveling along the corridor. Beyond the numbers, we look forward to working hand in hand with GDOT, with CERTA, and look forward to making this a very successful investment for the community, for Georgia, and for the investors as well. Thank you very much.
Please welcome Chief Investment Officer for Infrastructure at ACS Group, Nuria Haltewanger.
Hello, thank you so much. I want to thank True North 400 for helping organize this event. As mentioned, my name is Nuria Haltewanger. I'm the Chief Investment Officer for Infrastructure for ACS Group. So I oversee our global investments, and for many years I was the Chief Executive Officer for ACS Infrastructure based here in the U.S. Today is extremely exciting for me. I'm a Georgia native, so I was born in Valdosta, Georgia. So it's extremely meaningful to get to be here today and to celebrate our partnership, as was mentioned, with my home state. So we're going to be marking the start of construction as we move from planning and design to execution on this landmark project. So thinking about this today, it really made me think back to when I grew up. So my father is a master plumber here in Georgia, so he spent his whole career working on construction sites. So it's, thinking about it, I remember just riding with him in his very dusty pickup truck, going around, and he would point things out, and he would say, you see that school, you see that hospital, you see that store, I helped build that. And I remember how proud that always made me feel. So it's really no wonder that I ended up getting into infrastructure myself as I got older, because even as a little girl, I understood something that was very simple but super powerful, which was the things we build outlast us. And that's really what this is about today. SR 400 is exactly this kind of project. We've talked about the scale of it, the importance of it. It really is a legacy project that will serve this region for generations. And legacies, they don't just happen, so we've heard about them. They require leadership, they require alignment, and they require commitment and execution. And the state of Georgia is doing that. They are, as you've heard, already leading the nation in economic growth and investment. including the use of innovative public-private partnerships, or P3s, to address very important transportation challenges. The governor's vision and commitment to investing in Georgia's future, along with the exceptional leadership of Commissioner McMurray, Janine Miller, Mark Mastronardi, Meg Perkle, the entire GDOT and CERTA team have created an environment for success. And I really think this reflects government at its best. Innovative, efficient, bipartisan, with a clear vision that enables the private sector to bring its expertise while still holding us accountable to deliver to the highest standards. So we've completed, as you've heard, a very rigorous procurement process. We achieved a record-breaking financial close with the strong support of our federal partners, including U.S. Department of Transportation, the Build America Bureau. And now comes the hardest, yet most fun, part of what we're going to be doing, which is the delivery. So at ACS, we're honored to be part of that delivery. We're bringing the full capabilities of our North American team, led primarily by our now Atlanta-based construction contractor, Flatiron Dragados, together with our project partners, Acciona and Meridian. We'll be executing with safety, community stewardship, minimize disruption, and environmental responsibility, sort of as our core guiding principles. And alongside us, because this does not happen by us, it happens with the thousands of local Georgia contractors, workers, suppliers, which are going to help bring this project to life. So while there is a very long road ahead, both figuratively and literally, construction will be disruptive at times, even as we work to minimize impacts and keep the corridor moving. But working side by side, as it has been with our GDOT and now our local construction community, we're confident this project will set the standard not just for procurement and for financing, but for execution. And that's really, I think, the power of what P3s bring, of what public-private partnerships bring. It's not just a financing model, it's really a structure that helps align public and private interests around a shared goal, bringing accountability, expertise, and something that's important, which is a long-term perspective that focuses not just on how something gets built, but how it performs over decades to come for users. Because at the end of the day, that really is what projects of this scale, they aren't measured just in miles or concrete. They're measured in the impacts that they leave behind. So again, from Governor Kemp to the State Transportation Board to Commissioner McMurray and the entire GDOT and CERTA teams, as well as the local leaders that are gathered here today, we're grateful for Georgia's leadership, vision, and trust in this partnership that we've created. So soon we'll be putting shovels in the ground, and as we do that, we're not just starting construction, we are reinforcing a commitment. So to each other, to the community, to the future of the region. And so for years from now, someone who worked on this project, hopefully, someone who might be in this room is going to be driving down the lanes with their child or grandchild in the seat, and they're going to get to say, I helped build that. So thank you very much.
Please welcome Chairman and CEO of Acciona, Jose Manuel Entrecanales.
Good morning, everyone. I had a small speech, but I think I'm going to skip it. And most of this is the bad thing about speaking last, is that everything is being said already. So yes, everything that's been said is absolutely what I feel. But let me bring maybe something that it's kind of my unique perspective in this particular event, because I chair a company. Well, first of all, let me give you an anecdote. I was put in this paper on as Chief Financial and Sustainability Officer for Acciona, which is actually right, because that's my son. And my son was meant to be coming, but I had so much FOMO that I said, if you stay back, you've got lots of things to do. I'm going to come to Georgia. I want to meet my partners here. I want to be here. Not having remembered until this morning that it was my 37th wedding anniversary. So the whole thing has been a bit of a shaky moment. But here we are, happy as hell, and absolutely honored, grateful, and satisfied to have made that exchange in position with my son. I mean, what can I say? This project is unique, and this project is unique in the world. And this can only be done in America. Sorry, guys. I mean, you can only be done here. For quantitative reasons also. But, yeah, I mean, the Australians are rich. I mean, those guys are very rich. I mean, they're few, but they're very rich. I mean, those guys can do big projects. There is rich people around the world that can do big projects. So, yeah. But the alignment of planets that you need to get this particular project done can only be found here. The administration decision, the focus, the state of the state of law in which we live. I mean, no one would give $4 billion ahead of time. Let me build you here's $4 billion. That you need to have a very strong, credible, and trustworthy legal system to do. Hasn't happened. The talent that you find in this country, the business friendliness that we feel, that I as a Spaniard, particularly Spaniard with all this, our political, anyway, let's not talk about that. You know what I mean. I'm sorry, guys. What can I say? But the friendliness that I feel in this country, the easiness to bring my colleagues from around the world to work here, because this project requires a hell of a lot of talent, and we need to close countries to undertake the project that you are going to bring into the U.S. It only can happen here. The financing is only here. So, I mean, you've established an iconic project in the world. This is the iconic project in the world, but it's an iconic program in Georgia, and it's an iconic program in the whole of the U.S. So many people are looking. Unfortunately, when they start trying to put it together and replicate it, they find that it's not easy. That you have to have very special, specific characteristics to be able to do it. But mind you, this is I head a family company that's fourth generation, 100 years old, and I don't think I've seen such a big, attractive, solid, trustworthy opportunity in my life. It is also a huge honor, and I am profoundly grateful to be able to cooperate, to be able to improve with the only thing in life that it's irreplaceable. It's time. All the rest you can, but time is the only thing that's irreplaceable. We're going to give the people of Georgia more time for whatever they want to do with it. That is kind of a very valuable addition. So with that, let me not waste your time anymore. Thank you. And I wish to, if you see me becoming a citizen of Georgia in a few years, you won't be surprised. To start, we're opening up our headquarters here for the Americas, which is probably going to be the only headquarters we're going to need in the world next week. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. Well, thank you so much. We've heard from some really great leaders this morning, and I know, like Tim said, many of them traveled from very far away. So we could give one more round of applause for all of our speakers this morning. Thank you. So I am going to make some closing remarks, and when I am done, if all of the speakers would please join me at the dirt boxes just behind the stage. We'll be doing a ceremonial groundbreaking, and then after that, we'll have an opportunity for everyone to come and take additional photo ops with our elected officials and also some of our partners. So if you really want a photo with a gold shovel for your profile picture, now is your chance. So thank you so much for being here. I'd like to really start by thanking the group that made this event happen. So specifically, our three host organizations, True North 400, GDOT, and State Route 400 Peach Partners. We came together and we really wanted to make a big splash. We wanted to celebrate this project because it is worth celebrating. And I think with this event, we've been able to do that. So we're very excited about that. I'd like to thank our True North 400 board for giving us the support to do that. We have several board members here today. I'm going to just say their names really quickly. Obviously, our chairman, Tim Perry, who you've heard from before. And then we have Al Nash, Steve Stroud, Bernie Tokars, Nick Nicolosi, Tina Renee McCall, and John Roberts here with us today. So thank you so much for your support, allowing us to do this. I'd also like to thank our True North 400 staff and the team that did all of this work, this beautiful, beautiful event. So our staff, Alex Battle and Carrie Valdez, as well as our communications team with Communications 21, led by Sharon Goldmacher. And then, of course, we cannot forget our wonderful partners at GDOT, Commissioner McMurray, and their communications team, led by Scott Higley. And then, of course, our friends at State Route 400 Peach Partners with Javier Gutierrez and Alexandra Valdez. So thank you so much to them for making this event a reality. I think that we've heard a very common theme that this project is the embodiment of partnership. And I think the success of this event only exemplifies that. So we're very excited. And I have to tell you, the view from this stage is very impressive. And I'm not just saying that because I'm usually the shortest one in the room. I am saying that because I look around and I see leaders from our community, from every corner of our community. I see local, state, elected officials. We have some federal friends here with us. I see business leaders. I see leaders from our economic development partners, healthcare. Every industry in North Fulton, every major industry is represented here. And all I can think as I look around and I see you all, I think, of course you're here. This is a big deal, as was said earlier, and it truly is. This project is going to be transformational, as Mr. Beach said. And I think we're all here to help support that. And so we're very excited about that. So thank you so much for being here this morning to celebrate the State Route 400 Express Lanes project, which I'm going to say it again because I think it's really exciting, the largest transportation project in the history of the state of Georgia, happening right here in our community along Georgia 400. Thank you.
We